Well, if it isn't Five Nights at Freddy's, my favorite horror game series.
Who drove a DeLorean to the office today?
Why are we moving on to a new game, Joe? We haven't even completed the one we're on.
This is Five Nights at Freddy's Plus, a graphically enhanced and unofficial remake of the first game.
Wouldn't that technically make this a fan game?
Technically, yes, but considering the quality of this game, I want to break into it at least for this week alone.
You know what that means, right?
What?
There is no need to fear because the world's best security guard is here.
And there it is.
I'll take over from here, Obama. Let a natural show you how it's done.
I call dibs on your cufflinks when you get Fazbeared.
Would you take a look at this?
We have a ghost detector.
This isn't FNAF 1, Joe. What are we playing?
Like I said, it's the first game with a bit of an extension. For example, we're taking a spin on ghost hunting and detecting some anomalies.
Anomalies, huh? Well, there was one right there. Too easy for the world's best security guard.
Well, I really don't know what we've gotten ourselves thrown into, but I can hear a really eerie and unsettling record player in the background. Be careful, Don.
Do you know who you're talking to, Obama? I have the blood of a warrior in my DNA. I'm racking up these anomalies like I'm Zach Bagans.
In case you guys didn't realize either, we're in the dining area of the restaurant. This is where all the party guests are during the day.
I think the ghost didn't get the memo that they're only open during the day.
I think the ghosts didn't get the memo that they're not in Ghostbusters and they need to leave this place now.
So what are you even doing, Donald? It just looks like you're reporting anomalies off of the whim in your chest.
As the world's best security guard, my deduction is that every time the light flickers on and off, that's when I mark an anomaly.
Look at the atmosphere of the room, by the way. It's like a liminal space, if I do say so myself.
The realism is definitely an addition that I like about the game.
It's like I'm right at Chuck E. Cheese.
The light's blinking again. This is the last anomaly I have to get. And just like that, the world's best security guard threw another haymaker to the kisser.
We haven't even gotten to the actual game yet, and you've said your catchphrase at least 5 times already.
We're probably 5 out of 50, Barack.
And here we are. Wait, what is this?
The outside of the office looks high quality. Actually, the whole office looks great.
The Muppet Show got moved to Adult Swim. In fact, this whole place is as lively as a graveyard. Who's this Bosnian clown? This isn't my phone guy.
I don't understand why any parents would even bring their kids to this place.
Maybe it's a secret horror attraction or something.
Wait, what's that noise?
Sounds like a vent or something.
Oh, not this again. They're staring at me like they're soccer moms at a Bernie Sanders rally.
It's interesting how we always get the rare screens throughout these games.
Yeah, but who knows if that was a forced occurrence or not. Game programming is always different.
Phone guy can't stop the yapping. Let me just tell you that. Someone whipped up a congressional speech for him to read out.
Well, in similar FNAF fashion, are we going to coast through the first night, or will there actually be a challenge to start off with?
Well, if you remember, the game is trying to be an exact replica of the first game. So it'll most likely be the same as the original game.
Easy or hard, light work or difficult, the world's best security guard will always prevail.
I would say that these are going to be the same mechanics as the previous game, but with the intro, I really can't say for sure.
What I will say is that the new interior sort of reminds me of a Texas Roadhouse.
If Texas Roadhouse was built in Cleveland, then maybe.
Did anybody even listen to a word that guy just said?
All I know is that his accent is what Swedish meatballs would sound like.
Probably not too far off.
I know we should be settling this off screen, but why'd you come in so late today, Donald?
We got sucked back in time and you're asking me about my tardiness?
The last few days have been a problem, but today especially. We were waiting here for almost an hour, and we do have important things in our schedule.
There's 2 things I can say here. One of them being the honest answer and one of them being the cool answer.
How are there 2 answers? How old are you, Donald?
Trust me, as for the cool answer.
I'm a literal babysitter now.
Just humor him.
All right, Don. What's the cool answer?
I'm glad you asked, Obama. In a harrowing battle against many other foes, I waged war against my enemies in an all-out fight to the death. Supplies were low, a storm was coming, and many had fallen. And as the waves of opposition focused an attack on the world's best security guard, I heard the call of the people and went all out, surviving to be the last one alive.
Okay, that sounds nice. Now, what's the honest answer?
I got caught up playing Fortnite.
I have no words, Donald. Sincerely, no words.
Quite the description, I have to say.
You're a hypocrite, aren't you? Didn't you say that you would never play that game?
I understand the words of my past, but you don't understand that Fortnite brought back the original map from years ago. I had to dust off the chug jug and put on the bush.
That still doesn't get rid of player skill, does it?
Who needs skill when you're the world's best aimer?
I guess the building factor doesn't mean anything to you then.
Who needs builds when you're the world's best aimer?
Something tells me you play the no builds game mode then.
And I'm the very best at it, the very best.
Donald competing in land tournaments is just oddly terrifying to me. If he went against anybody that beat him, he would probably sue them for defamation.
That only happens when they don't agree with me being the world's best aimer. And you're riding up the tree of a court case right now with that attitude.
Well, seems pretty easy for the night so far.
Great, you just had to jinx it, Obama. Now Chica is off into the sunset looking for a feast.
Tell her that the Little Caesars is down the road and to the left.
That makes me wonder what the pizza actually tastes like here.
Probably better than Little Caesars.
I guess the main goal is to find out where Chica went. Now, like its predecessor, do the animatronics go onto the same side of the office?
As far as I'm aware, yes. Again, trying to be an exact remake here.
She really pulled a Houdini act, because I can't see her anywhere on these cameras.
Well, remember that it is night one, so I really wouldn't stress it too much.
Back to the atmosphere of the game. I just like how everything looks like a fallout shelter. Besides that, though, what else did this game possibly add?
Kind of makes every animatronic look like they were designed by Steven Spielberg.
I'm surprised you haven't found Chica.
Why is Foxy out? It's only night one.
Just like old times, Donald. The game is collectively coming to attack you so that it can stop the power of the world's best security guard.
I see this rigged game hasn't changed ever since we left it. I can still see the imprint on the remake, after all.
Don't look now, but it's already 5 a.m. So even if you can't locate Chica, everything should already be said and done.
A lot calmer of a night than the first time we did this.
I'm just exploring now. The many, many times I saw Big Bird at my door, I know her tactics all too well now, very well.
I feel like I'm stepping on a train to the past, but I'll say it again, Don. Don't let your ego inflate to the size of a blimp just for it to come crashing down.
Or come crashing down. That works too, to be honest.
Yeah, realistically, I don't care as long as it doesn't affect me.
The developer might just have it out for you too. If you're so convinced that this game is rigged against you, maybe he programmed it to be like that as well.
Must be a Democrat then. Liberals and their horrid blue marching agenda. Very horrid.
We really did step back in time, didn't we?
And would you look at that? I came back like I never left.
Interesting clock difference we have here. It's actually letting us know we're going cuckoo.
I think we knew that from the start.
Straight to the menu, I guess, too.
Well, what do you guys think so far?
I'm still the very best security guard.
The redesign looks absolutely phenomenal. I will say I think the characters look a bit too creepy, like it's trying to make them too scary. Doesn't really make any sense why parents would bring their kids here.
And Halloween already passed.
What about you, Don?
What else can I say? But let's move on to night two. These rundown robots need to learn their lesson.
Let's hope we're down a president after this.
All right, Casper, you and your family don't belong here. Last time I checked, we left Jason Voorhees at sister location.
Can we even die on this screen? I feel like this has to hold some sort of risk to this besides just a tedious task.
You would hope, wouldn't you?
Are you a clairvoyant or something?
No, just a man of irony.
Looks like the Addams family went to vacation in the South or something because they're not here.
Any other Scooby-Doo villains we have to look out for?
Besides the animals I would hit with my car, not really.
Still stuck on Midnight Motorist, aren't you?
I wouldn't be drunk if I hit a bear. Now, if I hit bear in...
I thought we left the family jokes in the second game.
Jokes?
You're not beating the allegations this time.
Like you ever did yours.
Yep, we're really back in full swing here.
And Bonnie's up for his midnight snack already.
1 a.m. snack if we're being technical.
Crazy how much time flew. I mean, can you guys believe that it's close to Thanksgiving already? It just felt like yesterday I was booting up the first FNAF game.
I wish it would have stayed yesterday. And this was the first game. Everything after has made me lose more brain cells than a lobotomy patient.
Interesting how that number could go below 0.
We never really mention what's going on outside in the real world anymore. I understand that we're the busy folk, but the seasons are changing. Winter is almost here. Allergy time is upon us. Everything and anything is constantly evolving, not just our own lives.
I would love to spark a fireside chat with you guys and discuss the open ideologies of such topics. Unfortunately, some old musty napkin and his DOJ have a problem with justice and are actively trying to hog-tie me with a cork in my mouth and a lawsuit on my back.
Wonder who would do such a thing.
Yeah, I wonder who.
Psst,
What?
Who actually is it? I genuinely don't know who.
Someone called Levine. Biden's circuit chip got air fried or something. And it's Bonnie. You having a little staring contest with the camera or something, you stupid rabbit?
Something tells me he didn't like being called a stupid rabbit.
No matter our struggles, we always seem to be busy. So I want all of us to talk about what we have planned for Thanksgiving.
That actually sounds like fun, Barack. Good idea.
You guys could have picked a better time. Like, why is he vibrating like that? He's off a perk 30.
You know the whole game, Donald. Nothing to fear besides the different reactions.
I'm closing the door anyways.
World's best security guard, mind you.
It's not like we're professional football casters or something. At least for me, I'm going to do what every modern family does and enjoy the time with the closest ones around me, only the closest.
It's always surprising hearing you act normal.
Act?
That's pretty much the consensus all around. There's not much to do on Thanksgiving besides the usual family matters.
Yeah, but I was referring to specific things, like going out of state, what types of food you'll eat, all that stuff.
You're asking a week ahead, Obama. And now we have Chica tweaking too. They've been sipping on the Pepsi too much.
And Bonnie is right at the door, just staring.
Looks like Foxy is going to run too. Yeah, you really have your hands full on this night, Don.
At least Freddie isn't off the stage tonight.
Well, not yet anyways.
Yeah, thanks for attacking the camera, Bonnie. I get you don't like modern innovation. Wait, the door's not closed.
Whoa, hello, Bonnie. I fancy seeing you here.
I think you should start closing the door, Donald.
Sherlock Joe over here telling me how to play the game. Now we have both doors closed, sucking out all our Energizer batteries.
Clearly, I have to tell you if you're going to keep the door closed for Chica. She's still in the hallway.
Donald, you're telling me that there aren't traditional staples in your household that you look forward to every year?
Why are we going back to this? Do you not see what I'm in the middle of right now?
Aren't you the world's best security guard? Surely you can multitask, right?
Well, of course there are traditional staples, Obama. I have my wedge salad to eat.
Wedge salad?
Don't clean your ears yet, Joe. You heard me right. President Trump's wedge salad recipe. It's delicious, very delicious, and even if your stomach will be full, your taste buds will be begging for more.
What's all in it?
I'm glad you asked. Besides the obvious iceberg lettuce, there's tomatoes, red and green onions, bacon, salt and pepper, slathered in a delectable Roquefort dressing.
So an appetizer at Olive Garden.
Don, aren't you forgetting something?
Joe, I'm aware of the door. See? I'm looking right at it. You don't have to keep track of the world's best security guard.
You know what, Don? You're right. Way to go, superstar. It's already 5 a.m. Keep on at it, buckaroo.
Am I missing something here?
Besides this loud music and Chica being creepy, no. It's Foxy.
Realized, huh?
Go to the door.
And a round of applause to the world's best security guard.
Donald, there isn't really any excuse why you missed Foxy's curtain, not once, but twice.
I was explaining my wedge salad. Why did you guys have to prod and pick at what I was doing? You guys were the distractions.
Wait, Donald, is that who I think it is?
Is that Freddie? It's night 2. Why is Freddie out? Are you serious? Why is he right there and I have 8% power?
Are you just not going to shut the door then? Well, I guess not.
That was too close of a call for the world's best security guard.
I felt like the entire Mongolian Empire was there to attack me at the last moment. Yet here I still am standing.
It's not the Battle of 300, Don. It's Freddy Fazbear's.
So is that all she wrote? Or are we playing another round of this dentist appointment?
That'll be all for now. I'll wait for what the comments have to say.
Let us know if you guys want to see Donald get eaten out by Foxy.
What? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing, the very first, is upgrade our equipment. There's the tab, and there we go. Time to sit back and get some easy work done.
I wouldn't necessarily say easy work, but like I said, these upgrades will expedite the process.
Quick question, Joe. Do the upgrades go away when we die? And if they do we have to repurchase them with new money?
Thankfully, no. Once you purchase everything, like Donald just did, it's a permanent decision.
That's all I need. And now I'm dead. Well, isn't that just great?
Donald, you need to lock in. Well, with all 4 of these things active and possibly more in the next few nights, I really don't want to be struggling on this forever.
How many times have you said that, Obama? And how many times have you heard the one and only world's best security guard respond?
Pay attention to noise, Don. That's probably one of the most important factors in this game, similar to FNAF 4. Motion detector and audio work great, but they're not entirely reliable. You need your innate security guard and businessman nature to do its job.
Give me a second here.
One.
All right, don't be smart. You never were anyways. Okay, I think we're good. Never mind, wacky warts paste just clogged the AC and I have an infestation of creation coming down my alley.
Donald, I think you might want to tend to the overheating. I don't like the thought of being in a Dutch oven.
Is it too fitting to say pizza oven?
Is this what the illegal aliens see after we run out of space in Arizona?
I always come back.
Phew. This is going to be a long recording, isn't it?
All right, this is the golden run. We got our big boy pants on and our hearing aids cranked to the max. Not even a mouse would get past me.
Keep in mind that they can fly down the vents now that you have all of them. They'll be attacking in short bursts too, so you really got to keep on your toes.
Of course, my customers are too busy devouring fruit punch to notice the vent monsters.
I wonder if they hear the ads too. That's got to strike fear in the pockets of some poor parent down in the galleys of the restaurant.
Probably the sound of the world's best security guard piling up his bag while he has to fend himself off like a dead rising game.
Bittersweet, but fitting.
With all due respect, Donald, I think I've lasted longer on 2 hours of sleep and a Pepto-Bismol.
You want the keyboard next? You get the keyboard next. Wait, what is this?
What the? It's Scrap Trap.
Interesting. We seem to have this weird aura of luck. First Shadow Bonnie, then some other rare screens in FNAF 4. Now this.
So you're saying we got another rare screen?
I cannot believe we willingly looked at this car crash victim and said, yeah, let's bring him inside.
This is what senior citizens look like after eating at Golden Corral for 2 hours.
Well, that was a donut hole of crap. And at the end of the alley is the entrance to the restaurant again. That doesn't give us a bypass on the night, does it?
Scrap Trap carved inside you like a Picasso painting. You tell me, Donald.
Okay, this is my absolutely last attempt. Then you're taking over, Obama. I've been filled with cream like a donut stick, and honestly, I don't think I can take another refill from Scrap Trap.
I wish our forefathers, like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, were here today to witness the defiling things that just seep from Donald's mouth like an overabsorbed sponge.
At that point, I think they just would have headed back to the monarchy of England.
You guys always want to throw insults when my back is turned. But beware, these thick cutlets of muscle have ears of their own.
Then you would think that you would be able to hear them come up from behind you, but it still seems like we're struggling on this office part.
Don't look now, Obama, but we might be finally making some real motion now. As soon as this despicable ad stops lubing the inside of my ears, I can get back to fighting for my life.
Well, at least you're actually fighting this time instead of flopping on the floor like a fish out of a basket. I might recommend that you do the longer tasks next time. That way it's just the easier stuff that you have to manage.
My strategy is all mainline, Joe. I have the very best strategy, the very best. Fort Knox couldn't be more secure than this office right at this very moment.
This isn't much of an office. We have some old Sprite cranberry gifted from LeBron, some crinkled up warnings from the tax department, and a monitor that looks like it was used by Jared Fogle.
I see, the Joe Biden classic. And these drawings too, there's no amount of words in the English dictionary that come close to the similarities I'm seeing.
I'm not even in the line of fire, but I'm catching strays.
I think these little pipe cloggers run around in a corn maze until they magically find my luxurious hair blowing in the air vent. Why do we even have a treasure map of vents in here anyways?
How have you just started noticing these small details when we're almost halfway done with this game?
I'm also almost halfway done with printing these supplies, so take your condescending attitude and ruin the gas prices with them.
I think both of you are focusing on the wrong things here.
You don't even know what focus is, Joe.
How does this happen every time?
Known I'd find you.
Every single time. It's like watching a blind person fall down a flight of stairs and trying not to laugh.
You were right about this being a long recording session. We're only 10 minutes in, and it feels like we've lived through half of a James Bond movie.
I'm sick of Vanilla Ice and Ice Spice running for presidency by posting rap videos and twerking montages while I'm trying to live through a battle royale. If you want the stage, go ahead and take it.
Schizophrenia is meeting MTV, so I'll let you handle the mental patient and take over, Joe.
I don't think patient-to-patient care is allowed.
Donald, I have absolutely zero clue what you're talking about. That might have possibly been the easiest night I've ever done.
Oh, but the intern is not going to show all the times he failed, is he?
All I'm saying is that I wouldn't look at his bumper
Don't
stickers.
forget Saturday. You want them all to be in one place.
Saturday. And why does this guy talk about all in one place?
Before you is an animatronic found in the back alley.
Great, this again.
Well, since I already completed the office part, I might as well complete the inspection too.
Checklist before claiming it as salvage. Or
wait, no one is here?
Already inside? You mean there's another animatronic that got in? What now?
Please make your choice now.
You're telling me that we only have one choice? What?
What just happened?
Don't forget Saturday. You want them all to be in one place.
You already said that? What are you even talking about?
Joe, what did we do wrong? What else got in?
Before you freak out, let me explain. Lefty, who was $5 on the shop, was actually going to be a salvage. That's why he snuck up in the vents and why we were attacked by salvages only. None of the other modern animatronics got to us.
This game is constantly reinventing the wheel, and all I'm trying to do is run a business off of a flat tire known as Obama.
And somehow, even with a flat tire, Lightning McDonald left me in a hit and run.
Guys, what the fuck are we even talking about anymore?
I like this nice little bump in our income right here. A calm $7 grand a day will help keep the homeless crackheads away. And a shiny new ball pit too, of course.
I thought we were getting the anti-gravity spinner thing. The one where it looks like it'll cause your colon to flip inside out and start doing the limbo.
Listen, Obama, I'm here to make the numbers go through the graph. If we're talking about the typhoon that wiped out half of Japan, it's from the rare finds auction, and some kid might pre-order a head injury.
So what exactly do you have in mind to purchase?
Before I consider anything, I have to review this sponsorship. 5,000? Yes.
You really have no thought for how we are going to survive in the office. You know that?
The numbers, Obama. You just had to witness that increase in revenue. This is what empires are made of. We will overcome adversity through tenacity.
Well, now what's the plan?
You know what? I'm feeling a bit spicy today. Not exactly big cash, but let these little head stumps lose a shoe in this thing and their parents will be buying pizza for hours.
I'm not against that. The only thing that I have a concern for is the massive amount of liability that we've netted.
Since we have already purchased pretty much everything under the sun when it comes to equipment upgrades, we don't have to worry about upgrades later on. You can spend away without really any concern.
That's all I needed to hear.
Time to get a second mortgage on my house.
All right, time to put this baby to the test. Give me the money, ball pit.
I'm not even being mean when I ask this, Donald, but how did you miss that bad?
In the words of Big Sean, last night took an L, but tonight I bounced back.
I will say those FAS points are quickly climbing the tower. Now to avoid a second hip surgery.
Oh, what? You're kidding me.
Medic!
Humpty Dumpty did not have a great fall, buddy. You just sustained some minor brain trauma.
And the little mascot outlasts a couple of broken necks and keeps his long-term memory for another day.
Oh, would you look at this greenery? Prepare to crack that skull again, Handy. You're getting put directly in the line of fire.
Donald's fast point addiction isn't something I allotted on my December 2023 bingo card, but I won't complain.
Business is about sacrifice and building off of what others lay down. If a couple of head injuries take place, you throw them a gift basket and they forget all about it. Like I said, business is an art form, and so is the art of the deal. I told you this already, Joe. Shave off some of that ear hair so you can hear me next time.
Those are cotton balls, Don. I use them when you pop your voice box to the aero engine setting.
Can I borrow one?
I don't know. The inside of my ears look close to the Vietnam War.
That's a funny way of saying civil.
Donald, what are you doing back here?
Listening to the intrusive thoughts. The Burger King needs to come down the street and slap his brother's gold tip.
The fact that you went back to this thing after it gave you a heart attack is dedication.
If gambling ever taught me anything, it's that most people quit before they strike rich. So make sure to keep gambling no matter what.
Not sponsored by Caesar's Palace.
What?
And strike three, he's out.
I don't know if the gambling records are favoring us right now.
$5,000. Let's go.
Are you serious right now? What luck?
I told you poor spirit politicians that I had a feeling we had big payouts. Taste the dirtiest part of my sack.
So now that you're ahead, now it's the perfect time to quit, right?
Just because you get ahead in the first lap doesn't mean that you quit the race. Now it's time to really put the pedal to the metal. This game hates to see a white man winning.
With Donald blinded by riches, it's safe to say that I'll just be doing the office part from here on out. I'd rather not be caught in another mousetrap for 5 hours.
Okay, you really saw the way this game is poorly programmed, and you decide to blame me for everything?
It does get difficult, but this game is the hardest to figure out the strategy. Even if you look up the techniques like you did, a lot of this is really just trial and error.
I'm going to kick my own shins in at this point. Scott voted for me, but can't tell his animatronic creations to not target the man who makes his games great again.
I was just getting into the entire fandom when all that went down. And did you know he got quite the amount of criticism when it was revealed he made political donations to the Republican side?
Yeah, and a leopard has spots. I mean, imagine making a donation to the Salvation Army and you get flack for not enabling Philadelphia with crack addicts. Opinions and morals are illegal to them.
Listen, all I do is sign some papers, hold some conferences, and play some horror games. I don't scroll on Tumblr and try to look at the sweat glands of Freddy Fazbear.
I'm too locked in on the vent sounds, and all I hear in the background is sweat glands and Freddy Fazbear. I can't leave you guys alone for 5 seconds.
Let some old men ramble, Obama. Just focus on keeping cool in your sauna.
I don't want it to fly under the radar, though. You're doing a darn rootin' tootin' good job, Barack. Just make sure to keep the ventilation and the heat in check.
Didn't know we were recording with George Bush over here? Bringing back Texas and obesity, are we?
Ironic, but have you even budged on the whole George Bush thing?
Really making me repeat myself here. Look, we're both Republicans and we have similar policies, but he has the audacity to come at me for weak security when you look at his presidency. I'm avoiding him like the plague.
Okay, so while Donald has kept his grudge match with every human being alive, I'm on my last ordering task, and then we only have 3 more maintenance tasks to do. Although we're doing really good, I don't want it to get to my head.
It's not a grudge. I just don't need the scent of the whole Florida Everglades brushing through my nostrils. And a list of many other things too, but it is mainly the stuff he said.
Okay, only 2 more tasks. Let's keep noise at a minimum right now. I really want to get through this first try.
This is the last one, Barack. You got this.
Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
How did you just...
Someone call a fireman and tell them I'm smoking this game right now.
Donald, you might just have to relinquish that title of yours.
Don't you dare start that again, man. Obama gets on a lucky hot streak and I get grilled for a fluke.
Donald, I don't think we can forget the smosh montage of death that you gave us.
I also gave us 232 returning customers. How about that, Obama? You haven't secured the profits I've secured for this company?
Somehow, with dumpster fires for management, we have yet to burn the restaurant down.
And with no new lawsuits, we don't have to go the insurance fraud route.
Give it some time.
We got absolutely 0 profit yesterday. This gravity vortex is still way too expensive. Well, when you can't do one thing, talk to the prize king. I think that's in the Bill of Rights somewhere.
I would add it to the Bill of Rights, but I think you might kick it out to the highway after a few times playing.
Don, this is going nowhere. Stop gambling our tokens away.
Just one fun time, chica!
What?
Going nowhere? Suck me dry, Obama. You're a fraud.
You know what this means, right? He has the Chica animatronic showing a lot of skin.
Someone get that glitter? Might have to pop one out really quick.
No!
This is an interesting decision, Don. Why did you purchase doors, of all things?
I gave up on the gravity vortex, which I'm super upset about. But you never know. Maybe this will slow down the scrap heaps from hopping into our vents during the office.
I can assure you that it won't.
I mean, I guess it was worth a try.
Well, look at our palace that we built at the end of our first week. Wait, isn't there an event or something? That speaker guy wanted us to do something.
Oh no. Do we have to do something specific during the office segment? Or did Donald forget to do something during blueprint mode?
No, blueprint mode is fine right now. And as far as the office part goes, it's just best to play out as routine as it is. Let's hope we're not here for 5 more hours doing it.
If this is foreshadowing, I'm drowning you in the ball pit.
All right, this is where everything comes together or falls apart. I'll be honest, if you guys could keep the side conversations at a minimum, I would really appreciate it.
No problem. We'll keep it shut.
As long as we get through this, I don't really care. I'm still the best security guard, though.
You can keep the name tag as long as I can keep my ears. I noticed that completing the printing tasks first might be the move. Get the longest and loudest task out of the way. Lets me hear a lot more.
That is smart, Barack.
This hurts me not to talk. What is our audience supposed to do? Just sit there and watch us play games?
Don, that is literally what they already do. The only difference is that we talk about felt teddy bears and attack each other's character.
Fair point. I'll go back to being quiet.
William, I understand you're fascinated, but please keep it out of my face. And maybe consider a tic-tac while you're at it.
Just giving you comms really quickly. You're all done with the printing task. Only the other 2 sections to go.
Thanks, Joe.
You're letting it get too hot. Might want to throw on the fan.
Thanks for looking out for me, Joe. Might not know what to do without you being here.
Might as well crawl inside of him at this rate.
Okay, this is the last wave, guys. This might be smooth sailing, and then we'll be home free. Here we go.
Last one.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
First attempt, Barack. You're a madman. You're the best.
I'll admit it, you did very good, Obama, the absolute best. I simply couldn't figure it out. This game is truly terrible.
You played right into our hands.
Circus, baby?
Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you?
No, I was peer pressured
No,
by an old man.
this was a gift for us.
Excuse me?
You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place,
The queen of yapping is back.
just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete.
Complete?
I will make you proud, Daddy.
I'm not proud at all.
Watch,
Gross, Don.
listen, and be full.
Be full of what?
Connection terminated.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name. But I'm afraid you've been misinformed.
What the? Why is
You were
this
not
guy here?
to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called.
What's going on?
You have all been called here,
Just listen.
into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you.
Volunteer?
Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be.
What?
I am remaining as well. I am nearby.
Wait, the
This
heat.
place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away. as the agony of every tragedy should.
What's happening right now?
And to you monsters
Whoa,
trapped
what
in
the-
corridors,
She's burning.
be still and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you.
This place is catching on
For most
fire!
of you, I
Freddy.
believe there is peace and perhaps more waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
Burn, crap trap.
My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
So every 3 games we just start forest fires?
Congratulations on completing your work week.
We're
We
dead.
apologize if your situation wasn't presented to you in a completely honest fashion when you first started, but it was important that your intentions and actions be genuine.
We died because
Here
of
at
that?
Fazbear Entertainment, we value fun, family, and food.
And death.
But more importantly, we value our commitment to atoning for past mistakes and tying up loose ends.
Past
Thank you
mistakes?
for your participation. There is no need for you to return to work next week, as Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity.
What?
Please accept this certificate of completion. Goodbye for now, and thank you for taking this journey with us.
I don't have the words right now, but what Poptropica Island did we just get done exploring?
That's how the game ends. What even just happened?
Joe, you better get those lips to start moving because you got some extra explaining to do.
Well, this job wasn't entirely truthful to us. We were hired here to run our own restaurant, but the main goal was to gather those animatronics all in one place. Those were souls trapped in those animatronics, and the guy that hired us intended for them to be released.
What a snake.
He was talking about setting up this elaborate scheme, but he also talked about his daughter, too. Apparently, she was a victim.
Not just a victim, she was the victim. She was the child that died outside the original restaurant and became the marionette. This is also why he says such distasteful things about Scrap Trap. Who is William Afton and the guy that murdered his daughter?
So this entire time we were just doing his bidding work?
You would do anything it takes to get your children back. And if you can't do that, at least know they're in a better place.
And then what? We just went up in flames?
Exactly. Everyone went down with the ship, the man speaking included.
He wanted to burn the entire place and wanted to finally end everything. So he had us help. What about FNAF 3? I thought we freed the souls then.
We freed some, but not all. After all, why do you think William is called Scrap Trap? The cutscene with him outside the restaurant is him after he escaped Fazbear's fright.
So this game takes place after everything, including sister location.
Which is why Circus Baby looks like that too. Wait, was she close to him as well? He called her Elizabeth, so he knows who she is.
That's for the lore recap. There's still a lot more we have to cover with this game.
Of course, the party never ends.
So to spoil some obvious answers, there are multiple endings to this game. However, it would be nonsensical to play through all the endings solely due to how much time it would take.
Wait, how many endings are there?
In total, there's 6, but we're just going to be seeing the final outcomes. We won't be actually playing through any of these.
And Martin Scorsese says cinema is dead.
Well, I had nothing important to do besides something for Michelle. Between mutant animatronics and an angry wife, I'll take my chances with Scrap Trap.
You gave it your best shot. You went all in. You put all your eggs into one basket and did the unthinkable.
Yes, sir, we
You
did.
ran out of cash.
What?
While we
Donald's getting
encourage
trauma
entrepreneurs
flashbacks.
to follow their dreams, we also recognize a lost cause when we see one.
A lost
There
cause?
are no do-overs, and we trust that you know your way out. But before you go,
Ha!
take this certificate
There's
of
no way.
bankruptcy.
Now,
Now do everyone a favor and get lost.
you can't be laughing because I got us that sweet, sweet certificate of completion.
I'm surprised Don didn't single-handedly cause this ending himself. It's almost impressive considering his hotels look like crack dens now.
Okay, so what else do we have in the shame factory, Joe? When's the car crashing into the building and causing several casualties ending?
So this ending is if we denied every single salvage and kept our restaurant at the bare minimum. Bottom of the barrel we're talking about here.
Interesting to see this one.
Congratulations! You've completed a full week on the job, and you've done it in such a lackluster way that no one is proud or disappointed.
Excuse me?
It's a fine line to walk, but you did it, completing your job with such an efficient level of laziness that we're surprised you're able to dress yourself in the morning.
Sounds like Don, all
While
right.
such a minimalist work ethic is rare, it doesn't mean that we want you back. In fact, it means you should look for employment elsewhere.
Of
But
course.
before you go,
Certificate of
take this
mediocrity?
Certificate of mediocrity.
This is
You
just,
should be proud. You stood on 2 feet and convinced someone that you could do something when in fact you couldn't. Now get out.
in other words, I present to you a collection of recent U.S. presidents.
Hey,
Don't worry, I'm including all of us.
Hey,
You have no reason to be surprised. Joe, maybe, but you know.
if you haven't recognized the common theme, it revolves around certificates. I know that sounds boring, but hold on to your seats because it gets interesting.
who died this time?
Congratulations on completing the week. Unfortunately, you did not meet your special obligations under paragraph 4. Your employment is terminated. We'll mail you your things. End tape.
Wait, what? We got terminated because we didn't fill our special obligations?
I don't know what he's talking about, but I don't get on my knees for anybody.
The way you could get this ending is by throwing a salvage in the back alley. It's actually a good thing that Donald never threw one back there because it is required for us in the contract to complete that obligation. Failure to do so would lead to termination like we saw here.
You're telling me Donald did something right?
How does it feel to be bested once again by the world's best security guard?
Donald, we died so many times that James A. Janice is talking about us.
I don't know why they're there other than to die, but they definitely do that.
All right, so the next ending is where things get a bit more interesting if you catch my drift.
The only drift I caught was the Old Man perfume that your wife helped spray on you this morning. It's like Old Navy met a prison ship.
It's a good thing we don't do watch parties because half of us would expire by the time the film started.
Congratulations! By some miracle, you've completed a full week on the job.
It is me,
Here
after
at
all.
Fazbear Entertainment, we encourage a healthy spirit of entrepreneurship, which sometimes means taking risks.
Donald moment.
But you took it a step further.
What
You
now?
were reckless and borderline criminally negligent in almost every decision that you made.
What?
So much so that you've been deemed a liability hazard, even for us.
It is you,
We'll
after
mail
all.
you your final paycheck, minus the costs of wiping the security footage clean and erasing all trace of your employment from our files.
This is so
But don't
stupid.
feel like you're leaving empty-handed.
Blacklisted?
Take this blacklist certificate.
Donald,
You'll be lucky to ever find employment in this town again. Now take care.
it's just fitting to your name at this point. The only tycoon game they have so far, and of course it loops in your specialties of bankruptcy and blacklists. Game must be cheating again.
Fine by me, as long as I get out of this pathetic pizzeria with my head twisted on right. They could put me on the rainbow list for all I care.
You don't have to worry. I'm sure a couple of artists have booked you on that for years.
All right, gentlemen, this is where the knob gets turned up on the stove.
Not like we already got baked like Papa's Pizzeria.
Wait, why are we in the catalog? I thought we were focusing on the endings of the game.
You don't have to worry about that. We still are.
This is how we get an ending? By purchasing great value Dr. Robotnik? I mean, he has a red rocket the size of a Chaos Emerald.
The specifics aren't what's important, Don. What matters is the result of these specific actions, to which you're about to see in a second.
All right, so what's the magic that you're referring to?
For this ending, you turn off the monitor. Then you place the cursor on that button right there, and then you would hold it.
It's only now that I understand the depth of the
What the-
depravity of this creature, this monster that I unwillingly helped to create.
Blueprints?
As if what he had already done wasn't enough.
Did we discover
Gone
his
into a way
plans?
To desecrate, to humiliate, to destroy. As if the suffering wasn't enough. The loss of innocence, the loss of everything to so many people. Small souls trapped in prisons of my making, now set to new purpose, and used in ways I never thought imaginable.
It must be.
He lured them all back to a familiar place, back with familiar tricks.
We caught him in this
Brought
ending.
them all together. Are they still aware? I hope not. It keeps me awake at night. I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Not until I undo what he has done and heal this wound.
He's talking
A
about
wound
William.
first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this. He set some kind of trap. I don't know what it was, but he led them there again. He overpowered them again. And he robbed them of the only thing that they had again.
Again?
I don't know how those tiny breaths of life came to inhabit those machines.
And I do?
They will never find rest now, not like this. I have to call them all back, all of them, together in one place.
So this is if we found out about his plans.
Congratulations! You went somewhere you weren't supposed to go, saw something you weren't supposed to see, and prevented a tidy resolution to a messy problem. Needless to say, you're fired.
You caused
But
this.
before you go, take this certificate of insanity.
Insanity?
We're giving it to you to ensure that no one believes you, and to ensure that we can promptly replace you without incident.
What?
There is a truck waiting for you outside.
What?
Take care.
Take care. I tried to take care of my own living and breathing body, and I get sent to the asylum for that? This guy's a walking poop sack.
So the reason he said all that was because we discovered his plans to free those souls, and he needed to get everyone in one place to do so.
Also because you know that we knew he couldn't allow the truth to get out. As such, he prevented us from doing so.
You know, I've never felt more mentally exhausted from a game.
What other horrors do we have to witness?
Just one last thing.
Wait, is this the credits?
No, this is after you get the Lore Keeper ending. It's about certain mini-games, but it's just about the puppet and one of the murders, most of which you already know. I'll show you after the recording. I'm honestly just so exhausted I want to get done.
Yeah, that's not going to upset our audience at all. They won't be able to hear our reaction, which is us staring in silence and then screaming like a Mr. Beast fan.
All jokes aside, this is relaxing. Remember that feeling of relief we got once we got the good ending for the third game? Even though we were a sacrifice, we did end this. It's done.
I would suggest to play that song now if it wasn't copyright.
Actually, my assistant did say he learned it. I think there's a video on here somewhere if you want me to pull it up.
Sure, why not? Would make for a good segue to whatever we're doing next.
Huh, not bad. Well, that's a wrap, boys. On to the lore recap.
Someone help me.
Sup, YouTube? What's going on? Barack Obama here, and welcome to Night What?
That came in like a firework.
And why is the video messed up, too? It's like off to the side.
I fixed the scaling. I don't know how to center it, though. Must be bugged.
Gentlemen, welcome to Night Watch. This is a game I played a while back, and considering that we wanted more variety on the channel, this game by Puppet Combo is a great game to start with.
It's certainly setting the mood, I'll give it that.
Beethoven really pulled out the Addams family for this masterpiece.
It's like if death had a ringtone or something.
Huh, looks like the screen centered itself.
First night on the job, I have a feeling it's going to be a long one.
I just need to stay awake. Seems like that's mission impossible for one of us, not specifying who.
So from the appearance of things, we're a park ranger, and we have to watch over the forest or something.
You get the overall gist of things.
Well, as the world's best security guard, I'm here to fill in the role of guarding the night.
Forest fire inbound.
And that's coming from the man who mixed kerosene for scented candles and threw it at the Turks as a welcoming gift.
Just focus on the game, Don.
What is there to focus on? All I'm doing is surveying the abyss that's going to swallow us whole.
My guess is that we have to be stationed up here for the whole night, and some spooky things are going to ensue.
No kidding if we got a full moon in the sky. That's when all of the weeaboos come out of their hiding places.
The what now?
You know, weeaboos, the hairy creatures that only come out when there's a full moon.
I think you mean werewolves.
You're telling me there's a difference?
Well, not in the looks department, and certainly not in the hygiene area either.
So what's the difference then?
Huh, you got a point.
Hey, Don, you see that beam of light?
I see it. Is someone signaling for aliens or something? Are there crop circles out there too?
That was an oddly specific train of thought you just went on.
On second glance, it looks like smoke.
Looks like a campsite a few miles west. I can see the bonfire from here.
So are there campers out in the wild that we have to look out for?
Well, if that's the case, they're on their own. I was hired to watch the night, not them.
I think a park ranger is getting paid to do more than just count the stars.
Not this park ranger. If I'm this low on life to work at this job, then I clearly have no respect for me or anybody else.
Remind me to stay away from the pool if you're the lifeguard.
I think the pool itself would stay away.
Either that or evaporate.
Why? Because he's the size of the sun or the color of it?
Why not both?
This is professional levels of hatred right now. And why is the radio on?
Uh-oh.
Hello, is anyone there?
I'm guessing this is some communication device?
Hello?
This is some advanced ding-dong ditching.
If these people need help, I'm hanging up on them.
Somehow that's not the worst thing you've said in the past week.
You're on the Parks Department emergency line. Do you have an emergency?
If they're calling you, it's their Is that breathing?
Either that or someone's having a hysterectomy.
Never mind. It might be your unlucky day.
This isn't funny, and it isn't a game. Unless you have an emergency, please do not use this channel.
Just some damn kids and their pranks.
Jim, are you thinking with a fist in your mouth? Either a goat just got mutilated or we just got a call from the Redditor hotline. How's this some damn kids?
Jim's the textbook definition of an optimist.
It's whatever. I'll take the flashlight, though.
I'm surprised Donald hasn't committed any federal offenses yet.
Just give him time.
Like you care about the environment at all.
That's all I really care about is environmental protection and the procedures that go behind that goal.
Where do you get the chutzpah to make that claim?
What are you, a Frenchman? Just say balls like the rest of us.
Stop riding my prostate, Obama. And if you gave the time of day to climate, that bill wouldn't have been signed to greenlight hazardous emissions. There goes our glaciers.
Donald, you have no room to talk. If you truly cared about the atmosphere and the environment, then you wouldn't have allowed heavy tax cuts for the meat industry.
As if I started it. Besides, you know that production of our agriculture is a fundamental necessity for the American people to truly thrive.
I'm not targeting the agricultural impact that our farms have. I am specifically mentioning the production of beef and poultry. Not only is it inhumane to the animals that just live to die, but it's damaging our ecosystem the more it continues.
If this is a veganism discussion, I'm immediately tuning you out.
Veganism is
not listening.
Real mature once again, Don.
Stop throwing a tantrum. A cultural shift in environmental growth would certainly prevent further destruction of our planet.
You know what, Obama? You've done a great thing.
That's a surprising praise.
The generator?
Right after that scream, too.
Shit, is it out of gas?
It seems like this is powered by a generator.
Anyways, Don, what were you saying about me doing a great thing?
Exactly. You've convinced me to DoorDash Texas Roadhouse and a nice sloppy porterhouse.
If you were in the mood for some cow, just slice off some of your stomach. You could use the loss.
And I can give you the leftovers so you can grow out of the crippled antelope phase that you're in.
I legitimately just mentioned climate. How did we spiral to this?
We got a letter to read?
Open it up.
Finally out on your first watch duty. You're gonna love it. Peaceful nights and all the fresh air that you could ever want. This is an easy job, but you still need to stay on top of things.
So we knew what we were getting into. Interesting.
Make sure you make a round and check for fires every 30 minutes. Oh. So wait, we do have to look for fires? I guess Smokey the Bear is not gonna be happy with us.
Nor the federal government.
Pissing them off is like a walk in the park for Don.
Be aware that you also have a radio tuned to the Emergency Ranger channel. Hikers are directed to use this channel in case of any trouble. It's unlikely, but make sure to keep the radio on. Use the satellite phone in case any emergencies, and backup will be on the way. Another ranger will be there to relieve you next week. You can ride back out on his horse. In the meantime, enjoy yourself. You have plenty of supplies.
Something's not right.
What do you mean?
It's just odd that this letter stresses for us to relax. But then that stuff on the radio happens and our generator goes out.
It feels like we're being set up here. Whether it's some vandals that are going to damage the forest or other, even worse. I don't have a good feeling about it.
Glad we're on the same page, but what do we do from here?
Remember, the lights are still out. We haven't gone down to fill up the generator.
Let's hope we're not going to get ambushed or something down there.
Well, now you just set us up.
Why is this watchtower so tall?
It would be faster if you didn't move as slow as a Walmart cart.
I think I even move faster than that.
When you're walking or falling, that is.
Sitting at this rate.
Well, I'm down here. Is this the generator?
I'm assuming so. Just make sure to pour the gas carefully.
The generator. It must have run out of gas.
Problem-solving skills would tell you to go find out where the gas is.
There's a shed right next to me, isn't there?
At least your observation skills are on point.
I've seen one too many movies where we get wrangled in the shed and bagged up like a dead pile of leaves. Do we have a handgun as a park ranger?
Depends on what park we're in. We're a park in France. Our flashlight probably dual wields as a surrender flag.
Typical Frenchman. Hopefully we're in the best nation in the world. The very best.
At least you found the gas can.
I'll be the one that picks it up too. Last time you got a hold of gas, you fueled our planes instead of our cars.
The hell does that mean?
Take it as you will. That sounded like the fattest piss I've ever heard.
Shut
up.
Donald, as a broke man amongst billionaires, what do you think of other rich men?
First of all, I'm also a billionaire, very rich and handsome. I heard that.
Good, I laughed loudly.
And that's too broad of a landscape, Obama. You have to be specific, very specific, instead of rich men.
Okay, Elon Musk.
Me and Elon go back, way back. He's one of the great geniuses of this time, maybe all time. He does well with rockets and Tesla. I know he likes Tesla. And Twitter, great that he owns Twitter, very great. He's a guy standing with freedoms, all freedoms, and change of policy.
That's surprising considering you have a rival platform.
I do like truth more, and I'm staying on truth. But censorship was plagued on Twitter before, very censored on there. Elon has stopped that, and he does a good job, by the way.
What about Mark Zuckerberg?
Now, if we're talking about censorship, a lot of censorship, look no further. Zuckerberg is the definition of a fragile man, very fragile and very weird, that has the obsessive need to pander to a specific audience.
And you're not saying that because he disagrees with you, right?
It's not even that. My own wife disagrees with me over things like protein powder. Not only is censorship a way bigger ordeal, it's also on a grander scale. It's mass manipulation of the people, and Zuckerberg just allowed himself to be a tool to that.
Did you snort a loogie or something in the middle of that? What the hell was that grunt?
Sometimes a man gets exhausted with doing laborious tasks.
By breathing?
So who do you think would win in a fight, Elon or Mark?
Oh, I don't know. Both are pretty versed with self-defense.
Doesn't Zuckerberg know MMA?
Not a clue. I wouldn't be surprised if he programmed it into his data set, though, with the way he acts like a cyborg.
Well, the reason I ask is because they're supposed to be having a cage match between the two of them.
Really now?
Rumor has it, from what I heard.
Billionaire pitted against billionaire. You can't tell me that won't bring up a spectacle.
You've piqued my interest. I might have my financial board contact the event operators to reserve me a front seat.
What a stupid thing to waste money on.
My money, my problem. Talk to me when your face is carved into Mount Rushmore.
And yours is?
Give it time. It will be soon enough.
Yeah, that'll certainly please the indigenous people.
We gave them a whole football team and they weren't satisfied. It's not like we're aiming to be people pleasers here.
Well, that was racist, and this will be two adding you up there.
How will it be racist to anyone?
It'll be racist enough for me.
What the hell?
What did you do now?
I didn't do anything. It just started barking like a rabid dog.
You've also been playing this game for the solid side of 5 minutes. It could just be trying to go emergency mode.
Someone's at the door?
Who could be at the door?
And why is this man so calm about this? What the hell is wrong with you, Jim?
Jim is thinking with the empty gas can he left outside.
So we're just opening the door? No second thought?
I guess so.
I swear this is a similar plot to a Jason Voorhees movie.
What a buildup.
I don't see anything. And that's all there is to it?
I'm starting to question the depth perception of Jim over here.
Someone get a bird cage because he's going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
So have we been making rounds properly? I don't know if this game tracks time or anything like that.
That's what we do when we go out on the deck. The rounds is being on the lookout with your binoculars.
I'm going down near the shed again. Nothing's happening here. And we still have no clue what that knocking is.
Or was.
As it's a horror game, I recommend staying on guard.
Do you know who you're talking to? I'm the world's best security guard in the flesh. Men, women, and children are in awe at my magnificent glory.
No, they're looking at you because you had bowel movements in a Wendy's.
That wasn't him, Barack.
Oh, my bad, Joe.
Is this dollar store generator still good? Good enough for me.
You should go and check the shed regardless. Never know what's hiding in these sort of games.
That's a bit suspicious. that you pointed us towards it. I always feel like there's something watching us when we have to do these tasks.
Well, we're not dead yet. I thought the feds would be in here having a tea party or something.
Is that our opposition this game? The UK's court of law?
I wouldn't doubt it. Also, these controls are so wonky on this damn keyboard.
The exit is right ahead of you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm blind yet, Joe. Thanks for stating the obvious.
Who the hell?
And now we're officially dead. Wait, what?
It must have been a bad dream.
So no, we're not dead yet.
This man is the dumbest person alive.
What makes you say that?
He has bath salts for brains or something. You're telling me that he's not connecting these dots yet like it's a puzzle?
Some people can truly chalk something up as coincidence. He must be one of them.
I dozed off. Better check that everything is okay.
With Park Ranger Jim over here, Yogi Bear's burnt to a crisp by now.
Yeah, it's only raining. You know, science tells you that water puts out fire.
You lost him at science, Joe.
Now what? Is the apocalypse happening?
Considering the rain, it's probably just a severe thunderstorm warning.
You would be correct about that, Barack.
A flash flood warning, it seems. That's not good for all of the campers out there.
I think it's common practice for campers to move to higher altitude when there's difficult weather.
What would solve this is not camping in the first place.
Or just be a responsible park ranger.
Okay, that's asking too much.
Well, let's do a recap of what's going on here. We're a park ranger in the middle of nowhere that has to watch over this Indiana trailer park of a forest.
More or less, you're on the right track.
And so far, we've gotten a weird scream, the generator got cut off, and we had that freaky dream of death.
That's not the most abnormal thing that's happened to me this week.
What?
Oh, what's that shiny thing in the distance?
Seems to me like it's a light glare or something.
Wait, is someone watching us?
What?
That looks like the reflection from binoculars or something.
What the hell? You're right. What the hell is going on out there?
Whatever it is, it can't be good. Do you guys think that it has anything to do with that call from earlier?
It has to be. Some do-nothing Democrat is trying to light this place ablaze right under our noses.
We're jumping to conclusions right now. Even if it is someone doing that, we really can't do much about it. Imagine walking down there with a rifle in hand, just accusing someone of looking at us.
This is America. If I can shoot someone for trying to sell car insurance at my front porch, I can sure as hell shoot someone for looking at me.
Now, don't refer to me as a scholar, Don, but you should know that you can't do that.
Not for long with the way you're running things. You'll have the Second Amendment abolished soon, and our country will end up looking like France.
Why France of all places? Even with the situation at its boiling point over there, I feel like China is still way worse.
That's not saying much.
Oh, great. We have another prank caller.
Wait, did that say camper?
It did.
Hello?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Are you a park ranger?
Is it possible to ignore these people?
These people are calling in for help, and you're out here treating them like spam callers. I wouldn't be surprised if you did that in real life.
Come on, Joe. I would be the best emergency operator, the very best.
Knowing you would probably try to get the world record for how many people you can let die in a day.
Hey, I never said what I would be the very best in.
Okay, well, I know this probably sounds dumb, like I'm being overly paranoid, but I think there is somebody watching us in the woods by our campsite.
A gun solves all of this. What's your location?
Wait, do we know this by heart, or do we have a map that we're going to use?
Barack, that's just common sense now.
Yeah, that was a Donald sort of question.
Okay, I think I saw your campfire. I'm not too far away. I'm about 2 miles. How many people are you with?
There are 3 of us. We keep hearing things in the woods. I think somebody is there.
Probably the federal government telling you hippies to stop living off the land and pay taxes.
No, we heard a voice. It sounded like a pig, but not an actual pig, like somebody mimicking a pig.
They were mimicking a pig?
Boy, they must have been doing a Donald Trump impression.
Joe, if I have to stop making age jokes, you have to stop making whatever those jokes are.
A fair trade.
All of a sudden, comedy is illegal.
It sounds like you guys are spooked, but it's highly, highly unlikely anybody is out there. The park is pretty empty this time of year.
This just sounds like we're trying to avoid going out and helping the camper.
Too bad Jim wants to be an upstanding citizen, because we're going out to help them anyways. I see why we're stuck at a job that pays in Taco Bell coupons.
You never know. It could actually be something pretty serious.
True. They may actually have Taco Bell coupons, which makes the trip worth it.
Imagine being a camper that dies because your park ranger was too interested in some fast food coupons.
That just means more Taco Bell for me.
Some nice eerie music to go with our walk.
Joe, serious question here.
What?
What in the great state of Arkansas is your son doing?
I've been meaning to ask that too. He's acting like he's on a cocaine-driven operation.
Who's to say he's not?
You say this pretty calmly, as if this is just a normal activity in the Biden family. I'm now questioning your methods of raising your kids.
You do that regardless.
You're disregarding my point.
Well, Hunter hasn't really been himself recently. I guess it could just be the growing pains of getting old, but he's been battling with his own mental state for quite some time now. Me and Jill have often encouraged him to get help, and I think he really is trying to be better.
Joe, I really try to be a sympathetic person. I know you're going to roll your eyes, but I do try to wear someone else's shoes.
Okay.
Your son f***ed his niece. That individual statement alone should fully dismiss any empathy that you feel towards him, and you should grab the shotgun.
Well...
No, we're not condoning this. Your son committed horrible atrocities against humanity.
Never heard that one before.
I know a father loves his son, but you need to love him like Travis loved Old Yeller.
I know it's absolutely revolting and disgusting, but he's my son. That's not something a man can just do.
Am I on drugs? Did Hunter slip some booger sugar in my water when I wasn't looking?
If you're going to approach a serious topic, treat it with respect.
Obama, I know we have our disagreements, but am I honestly the crazy one here?
Your argument is entirely valid. Hunter has done some incredibly abominable acts. Joe has also raised the kid since birth, so you have to understand his pain as a parent. Now, can you just leave it alone and get to where we're supposed to be?
My point still stands, Joe.
I'm not shooting my kid, Don.
Yeah, you'll just refuse to talk about his secret daughter and will pay millions to keep his crimes quiet.
I can't tell who's worse, you monsters or the monsters in these games.
And the rain begins to stop as soon as we're about to get there.
Hopefully the pig hasn't eaten them yet.
I'm more concerned about the Taco Bell coupons.
Why are you so fixated on coupons? Aren't you supposed to be a billionaire?
I think you should be asking why Taco Bell.
Rich or poor, who doesn't love a good deal?
Yeah, buy one bowel movement, get one half off.
Wait, do you hear that?
Hear what?
Shh. Listen.
Sounds like radio static?
What the hell?
Looks like a shirt.
It is, but what is it doing out here?
Obama, I got a bad feeling about this, and it's worse than torn up coupons.
Right, how close are we to the campsite? We have to figure out what's going on.
We're almost there. Keep going towards that static sound. There's definitely something going on around here.
Captain Obvious providing useless aid once again.
Looks like we're here.
Well, Jim, are any campers here to greet you?
We got to check the tents.
Here's to hoping they just fell asleep.
Yeah, it's not like you already know what's going to happen or anything. Empty.
Yikes, that's not good.
Uh-huh. And it's not like they could have gone anywhere around here in the puddled up woods.
I doubt they're playing hide and seek.
Especially if they ran off without their flashlight. They must have left in a hurry.
Either way, I'm not liking this. And here's where the static is coming from.
A radio, probably what they used to catch the emergency line.
On to the third and final tent.
They have to be in this one.
That's blood!
Something tells me this isn't period cramps.
Jim, that's enough. It's time to pack it up and call the cops. We are not equipped for this.
Someone's screaming.
A little girl. We got to get to her. Hold on, little girl. We're on our way.
The plan went down the drain. We need to get to her now.
I'm running as fast as I can, Obama. Jim isn't athletic.
Run faster.
I'm running. I'm running.
Is that her?
Wait, stay.
What the hell?
Did we just die?
What the?
Where are we?
It looks like something.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, something tells me that we messed up.
Well, Jim, was it worth it going out to find these people? Now we're going to be mincemeat.
Where are we at? This is like some crack house shed or something.
Oh, we're naked. What the hell did we get ourselves into?
That's the least of our problems. We're in a cage with a bunch of corpses next to us.
Don't yell at me. Yell at Jim. He's the one that got us into this mess.
Damn it, Jim. Why are you so stupid?
Who the hell even is that person? Is that the guy stalking us this whole time?
At this point, just kill us.
Don't try to scream now. We're dead.
What do we even do in this situation?
What do you mean, Obama? We die. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
A Bible verse.
So guys, what did you think of Night Watch?
We're not friends anymore, Joe.
I tried my best back there, but it's just something about the atmosphere that makes it so difficult to pursue.
And he's right there to, yeah, we're just going to back up real slowly here.
Like I said, the situation that we're stuck in was part of a rapid change. We went from a controlled experiment to a harrowing escape from death in the matter of 30 seconds.
Don, what are you doing?
You were right, Obama. This is different.
You barely left the room.
Well, now I am. The world's best security guard is on the scene to put these monsters behind bars.
I don't think that's our job here.
Yeah, we're just trying to escape this place. I thought you knew that.
Same thing, really, as long as I don't have to deal with them in the long run.
Don't die right away. Remember, you have to stare at SCP-173 and can't lose track of him.
I read the paper too, Obama. I know what we have to do. I'm a president, not a toddler.
It's a toss-up on some days, if I'm being honest.
You're just projecting because you wear adult diapers.
Hey, I told you that in confidence, and I don't wear them anymore.
Wait, you wore them in the first place?
Are you really surprised that he did?
Not particularly, just caught me off guard.
Exactly. It's like accidentally eating gluten-free foods or something. What the?
There's no way you already died.
I just said not to die right away.
How was I supposed to avoid that? He was hiding behind the door.
In other words, you just suck.
Before you two catfight, let me take my turn.
Joe, can I ask a serious question here?
These normally don't end up being so serious, but go ahead.
Why do you fall so much?
Don, come on now, get a new joke.
Listen, I'm not making fun of him or anything. This is an actual serious question. He's fallen upstairs, off a bike, even on a flat platform with a sandbag. Do you just get dizzy, or does your body just get so weak that you physically can't stop it?
You could have picked a better time to ask this, but I think of it as my muscles just randomly fall asleep.
In a blink of an eye, just like that?
You know how when you sit on your leg awkwardly, it'll just grow numb?
Like when it falls asleep?
Exactly, but imagine it just suddenly happening out of nowhere, and you don't have the capable strength to keep yourself up.
So you're not really a standing president, you're a falling president.
That might be your funniest joke yet, and it still didn't make me laugh.
Well, I'm sorry, but the fact that FDR could stand up better than this man is outright ridiculous. How are you failing more than someone who had polio?
Because I can't stand being around you.
Joe, I'm really trying to defend you here. Please don't make it worse.
And he's in there, so I think we're just going to stay out of that room.
Well, next time you go up to one of your speeches, I'll make sure you have a nice trip then.
How are both of your guys' jokes getting more and more terrible?
I wonder if this is what clinically insane people think their hospital looks like. Why is nobody saying anything?
I can't believe you compared me to FDR.
Are you still on that? It's been like 5 minutes. Get over it.
I was just contemplating life, wondering why I'm choosing this place to be, of all places.
I'm also trying to focus here, too. Again, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to this game.
You've clearly talked during games before that this should be no different. I think you're just being too sensitive.
You also cross the line way too many times, Don, and that's why some people don't like talking to you that often. You're not considerate of other people.
What does Ben Shapiro say? Facts don't care about your feelings, and that's a motto I try to live by.
Ben Shapiro also pleases his wife as well as a blind man who plays darts. Is that another alma mater you embrace?
You have no room to talk, Sleepy Joe.
Nor do you.
Okay, if anybody has no room to talk, it's you, Obama. You gave her 8 years as the First Lady and 2 kind of decent-looking kids, and she still looks perpetually pissed.
Only around you, Don. She's a very pleasant woman to be around.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Is she really?
Yes, she is. Both of you need to stop.
Obama, blink twice if you're in danger.
One thing I remember from originally playing this game is that it can be a running simulator sometimes.
What does that mean?
This game has a very vastly large map, and thus will be taking a large ordeal of time to properly explore.
Well, with Joe, that'll take however long he has left on this planet. Obama, pass me the chips.
A please would be nice, but here you go.
Despite how big it is, we still want to sweep through the entirety of the map. There are multiple tools that will enable us to escape.
How long will that take, though?
Even though it will take long, this process will allow us to look at... Why are you chewing so damn loud?
I thought you already knew about Donald's bedside manners.
What, is there a problem or something?
You sound like a cow eating grass.
I think you can play its appearance, too.
Listen, eating with my mouth closed hurts my gums, and I'm not having any blistered dentures take up cap space for my teeth. My pearly whites will not be compared to Joe's horse-made fake teeth.
I think that's more of an insult towards Boris Johnson than it is me.
It's probably more of an insult for the entire UK than it is for you.
The hell is that noise?
What the? Whoa!
What in the octopus hell is that?
Whatever it is, I'm getting away from it.
You don't even know what it is?
No, I told you that I'm just as blind as you guys going into this.
He also said that a lot, Donald. Do you listen at all?
Not to liberals.
It's kind of upsetting how we haven't really had any progress at all.
Well, you know what upsets me?
Everything and everyone that doesn't hail down to Donald Trump.
Well, but why do people look at me so vastly different than Obama?
Class, accomplishments, and trustworthiness are all big reasons, but there's many others that we can run through really quickly.
You mean lies, lies, and more lies?
If that isn't the sound, did a damn bomb go off or something?
No clue. But listen, it's not like we're in leagues of our own. Everybody gets on my back for the government shutdown, but you had one as well, Obama. Does anybody ever mention that? No, it's like you had to go looking for that information on some foreign website or something.
During my term, the government shut down because members of the House wanted to add provisions onto another bill.
Joe, what are you doing?
Backing away from whatever this is.
That would delay the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh, we're dead. Obama's ranting about stupidity, and we're about to die.
It was a moral disagreement that the Senate and I weren't going to easily back away from. Your government shutdown is just associated with a damn wall.
We had an entire drug trip, and you somehow still found a way to complain.
You quite literally asked for it.
Yeah, and thanks to Congress for just planting their boot in my mouth, all the materials for that wall went to hell in a handbasket. Now we just have a train of drugs and terrorism coming from the other side of the border.
For the record, I just wanted to say that I haven't had a government shutdown yet.
Keyword, yet.
That's some pretty low-hanging fruit, Joe.
Well, since there's nowhere else to go, we'll take this elevator.
I do not have a good feeling about this.
It's impressive that you can even think about feeling good in this place. You're right, Don. I also do not have a good feeling about this.
Well, this is certainly something.
It's like I'm playing Doom. What?
I don't know, and I don't care. We're just getting out of here.
Were my eyes playing tricks on me? Was that a giant lizard?
It looked like a failed dinosaur abortion.
Call it whatever name in the book, but I think it's best that we stay away from that area.
Joe, if I'm being honest, we've pretty much explored everywhere else.
You know what? You're right. We have to go back.
Wait, I zoned out there for a second. Why are we back here?
We have no other options, really. We've pretty much explored all the avenues we can besides this one.
The well is run pretty dry, but you know what they say. High risk, high reward.
Yeah, chant that little chant of yours as we're being devoured and consumed by a Komodo dragon.
Yeah, I think you're already very well aware of this, Joe, but be very careful around these corners. You never know what could be lurking in the dark.
I'm very hesitant on approaching everything, and that's the reason why.
Yeah, just get out of Dodge on that one. Are you serious?
Wait, why did I just hear a person talk?
Oh, I remember these things.
You do?
Yeah, these guys can perfectly imitate the voices of their past victims to lure in new ones.
That's nice.
That is creepy, man.
Yeah, I'm not liking this. Uh-oh, did they spot us?
Honestly, don't know, but we might be out of luck no matter what.
It looks like they're patrolling the entire function. Don't you have some leftover officer corpses to feast on or something?
Why are there so many of them in the first place?
Might have just been how they contain them. I think one's right on the other side.
Yeah, I can see those slimy lizard legs.
He's in no rush, is he?
Doesn't seem like it.
Oh, he's disgusting looking.
I can't tell if they look like Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi.
Or their secret love child.
And we're just going to slowly slip away.
Nice. There you go, Joe. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I don't know how much we can advance in that area. Plus, there might be something we missed.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm not a big fan of those cracks on the floor.
Can't wait for Godzilla to just break through the floor and devour us whole.
What's that sound?
We're just going to close that and pretend that didn't happen.
What in tarnation was that?
Not Godzilla, I know that.
What?
He's chasing us?
He just walked through the door. This is not good.
Run, Joe!
That's what I'm doing.
What is that, Joe?
I don't know. I've never seen that.
Yep, someone call the funeral home. We're goners.
Shut up, Don. Let Joe figure this out.
There's not much to figure out here. If he can walk through doors, we might be screwed.
Can you get back to the elevator?
That's what I'm trying to find.
Uh-oh, dead end.
Quick, do something.
Get out of the way! Something tells me he didn't get out of the way.
Well, that didn't go as planned.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. We always needed a laugh or two as our spine is in our jaw.
Well, needless to say that I'll be doing some research over the weekend to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Is there anything online?
Yeah, there's a whole website about this, but I think it's separate from the game.
Your family doesn't have a good reputation with computers. Like father, like son. Your silence doesn't prove me wrong.
Shut up already.
Gentlemen, it's that time of the year again where we gather around the campfire and talk about the random murders of a fictional kids game.
I'd hope it would be fictional.
I'd already have the National Guard at Springtrap's location ready to launch the missile.
So, with how long and complex the original lore recap was, how bad will it be now that there's 3 more games?
The expectations have already been set. I'm waiting for the entire 4th season of Doctor Who to be introduced here.
I recommend you don't ask the handful of questions you always do, Don. Otherwise, we might legitimately be here for hours on end. Mainly because while some of this is fact, a lot of this was pieced together, and some decent parts of it could be wrong.
Speaking of, did you bring the MatPat AI again?
Funny story, I put my laptop down on the countertop while I was taking a call. And when I came back to it 5 minutes later, it was gone. I'm convinced it grew legs and walked away.
On its way to assassinate the real MatPat.
Those theories aren't big enough for the both of them.
Let's start from the beginning. During the late 1930s Depression, the state of Utah held a little attraction called Fredbear's Singing Show.
Wait, we're starting off in Utah?
And the Great Depression? I didn't know we were walking with Little Orphan Annie.
I thought we were starting in 1983. How did we get sucked into the 30s?
Now, the show had a bear that did really neat circus acts and even sang. Then there was this little kid that fell in love with the show, and his name was William Afton.
So this is where the skeletal scumbag gets introduced.
Didn't know he was literally aged like moldy cheese.
Seems kind of obvious now when you look at him.
William dreamed about recreating that childhood musical bear. So when he grew up, he opened a restaurant called Fredbear's Family Diner, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life.
I'm not one to crush dreams, but that's certainly an interesting choice of visions.
I'm sorry, but where is this from? How are we even supposed to figure this out? There was no indication of this anywhere.
There was, but it was in tidbits. Small little details that you had to piece together for a bigger picture.
I forgot the franchise loves to be a giant jigsaw puzzle.
The first characters to be introduced to the diner were Fredbear, a golden bear with a purple top hat and bow tie, and Bonnie the yellow rabbit. The characters were just suits at the time, worn by people to entertain. But as a result of that, there was soon to be a problem.
I think the problem now is that he started a business off of one circus show.
This man watched one documentary of Jack the Ripper and was like, hand me the pen.
A rival restaurant, Chica's Party World, opened with real animatronic animals. There was Chica the chicken, a pig, a frog, and Ned Bear, a cheap knockoff of Fredbear. The creator was Henry Emily, a robotic engineer who made these characters.
So this is how Henry came into the picture.
What did he see to get inspired? A roadkill?
Soon, Fredbear's Family Diner would be put out of business and would have to merge with Chica's Party World. After merging, William Afton and Henry Emily formed a partnership, and with both their expertise, they would design spring-lock suits, animatronic suits that could be worn as costumes. In 1983, a new location opened, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, with a new cast of characters.
This guy is a full-blooded embarrassment. How do you even get shamed out of your own dream? Business is an art, and he was clearly playing with finger paint.
Joe, hurry up before Donald makes more analogies.
There was Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie the Bunny, Chica the Chicken, and Foxy the Pirate Fox. This merger resulted in business booming. William at this point had a wife, 3 kids, and a successful entrepreneurship. But this is where the story gets grim.
Road did seem too smooth.
William was too busy with work, and his youngest son Evan had to be babysat. So he installed cameras, had a golden plush bear with a way to communicate with Evan, and had his oldest child Michael watch over him.
This is referencing the story around FNAF 4, right?
Wait, you're telling me that William was the voice of the Golden Freddy the whole time? What?
Wait, I didn't even listen to that. Is that who that was?
Again, most of this is based on some theories, so there's nothing too concrete about some of this. However, it is heavily implied.
I'm so sick of rambunctious activities going on around here.
Michael wasn't too fond of Evan, and he tormented him with pranks almost every day. Evan had become terrified of the animatronics, yet one fateful day would change everything.
Why didn't William stop Michael from bullying? What kind of father is he?
He took advice from some of his friends, Ted Bundy and H.H. Holmes.
During Evan's birthday party in 1983, Michael and his friends decided to prank Evan by putting him right up to Fredbear's face. This negligence would result in the jaw of Fredbear biting down on Evan's head. Evan's body went limp. Michael didn't know what to make of it.
Michael's got a smoother brain than the Appalachians.
And that's coming from Donald, of all people.
Rushed to the hospital, Evan had little to no chance of recovering. Now, interestingly enough, his father said to him, "You're broken. I will put you back together." Evan likely heard this as the golden plushie talking to him.
You could have avoided this if you didn't give him an entire Build-A-Bear for a friend.
Again, some certainly interesting life choices here.
Then, as you heard at the end of the fourth game, Evan then passed away. After this tragedy, kids now had to wear special wristbands to prevent them from getting too close to the animatronics. Also, a new security puppet was made to protect kids from getting hurt.
So you're telling me that because his son died, it was his bright idea to get them closer to an animatronic?
Is that what the marionette was stationed to be? A robotic security guard?
Essentially. Think of it like a bouncer, but for kids.
No wonder it tried killing us.
William resorted to drinking and grew incredibly restless over his son's untimely death. Consequently, he planned to take his anger out on Henry. After all, he did steal all his ideas.
You'll never see more hatred than from a failed businessman. He can't run a business, and his subpar skills, his lacking skills, made him jealous.
You'd think he'd take inspiration from Henry instead of growing bitter and jealous.
His son did die, to be fair.
To his own creation!
Drunk and angry, William drove to the restaurant to take his anger out on Henry, but instead found Henry's daughter, Charlie, locked outside in the rain.
Can't pick on someone your own size, so he takes down a toddler. What a joke.
William took this chance and killed Charlie in the alleyway to get back at Henry. In that moment, he began his life as a killer. In the aftermath following, Fredbear's Family Diner closed its doors for good as Henry was devastated.
Now you'd think they would be done entirely, especially with the toll that was taken onto both William and Henry.
Unfortunately, William has the tolerance of the Berlin Wall.
The investigation into Charlie's death came up empty-handed. For unknown reasons, William's wife left him around this time. This resulted in him going crazy, and he constructed an underground workshop to experiment with robotics.
I think he was already crazy to begin with.
Yeah, but there's a fine line of being crazy enough to kill someone and being crazy enough to build an underground bunker.
Call it Kanye crazy.
Well, I guess.
Not only that, but he did hallucinogenic gas experiments on his own son, Michael, making him see nightmares every night for what he did to Evan.
Wait, what?
He tortured his own son, and that's still not the worst thing he did?
We knew this guy was walking feces, but I didn't know he ran, too.
He is the main antagonist, after all.
So wait, if Michael was the one having nightmares every night, does that mean FNAF 4 was based on Michael's perspective?
Yes, that's correct. This is, again, following the events of the fourth game.
William was definitely the kid that reminded the teacher that the class had homework.
The Springlock animatronics got retired, never to be used again. At least that's what the plan was.
Retired publicly or privately? Because if it's just William running the show now, I don't think they were ever retired.
In the face of the public.
But William was still plotting in the background.
Again, correct. Now set the scene to June 26th, 1985. William lured 5 children to the back of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza wearing the golden Bonnie suit. There he killed them and discarded the remnants in a place where no one would check, the animatronics themselves.
Sickening.
The first one was a girl named Susie. William lured her into the back room by saying her dog had died. He stuffed her body in the Chica animatronic, Henry's own creation. The other kids' names were Gabriel, who was stuffed into Freddy, Jeremy, who was stuffed into Bonnie, Fritz, who was stuffed into Foxy, and Cassidy, who was stuffed into Golden Freddy.
Hate him all you want. That's a pretty crafty way to discard a body.
Seems like it would be the opposite. The smell of rotting flesh would seep into the fabric of the suits. Again, it amazes me that they weren't found there in the first place.
I have to agree with Barack. Any competent investigation would have had him behind bars. Fortunately for William, he lived with Springfield police.
Classic crooked cops. Guess what party the mayor is?
Newspapers reported this situation as the missing children's incident. William was charged but never convicted because they had no evidence against him. The bodies were never found. Henry knew in some way it might be Afton. So he removed William from the company and closed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
And that should have been the book closed. Case dismissed. The end.
That's what we thought anyways.
So 2 years go by and it's 1987. Henry opens a new location with new toy animatronics that have built-in security systems connected to a criminal database. The old animatronics were placed in a back room, left to wither away.
This is where FNAF 2 happens, right?
Yes. I assume the dead giveaway is the criminal database and the withered animatronics.
That in 1987, when someone got mauled by a chain chomp.
William saw that the new Freddy's had opened, so he went to cause problems at the new location. He went and put on the golden Bonnie suit. We don't know exactly what happened that day, but we do know it would be one of the reasons for the new location closing.
What do you mean we don't know what happened? Didn't he slaughter 5 more houndlings?
Houndlings. Why the word houndlings?
Because they're not living to be houndooms.
Again, it's implied, but never directly stated. Some people credit the toy animatronics roaming around as the criminal database trying to search for William instead of haunted robots.
Either or don't follow Darwinism.
It all came to a halt when a night guard by the name of Jeremy Fitzgerald got his forehead bitten off. Freddy Fazbear's new pizzeria, only weeks after being opened, closes its doors again. Now, William noticed that while he was at the premises of Freddy's, the old animatronics were acting strange. They would roam the halls at night on their own, almost as if they were possessed.
I mean, he did take his Jason Voorhees cosplay a bit too seriously.
So Jeremy Fitzgerald comes in and is the one that gets his head bitten off, but I remember something being mentioned about a guy named Fritz. Is that right?
We already went over Fritz last time. He was brought in shortly after, but fired for animatronic tampering. I'm mainly highlighting the bigger things here because I'd rather not spend 2 additional hours talking about the smaller details.
I think we're already 2 hours in.
After Freddy's closed, William decided he would open his own Freddy's again, but it wouldn't be called Freddy's. He would open Circus Baby's Pizza World, a new branch with a new set of animatronics. These animatronics had special abilities. They could mimic voices and isolate specific children. Their endoskeletons were a way different than Henry's creations, with their components being more snake-like.
Now, if I remember correctly, this is what we saw at the beginning of Sister Location. Say, William Afton was explaining to another man about the features of his animatronics. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
So we're on to the 5th game now, right?
Yeah, time really flies in this universe. Either that or these people walk in a soap opera.
Chuck E. Cheese must have enjoyed their front row seat to all of this.
William kept his own creations, Funtime Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, but he also introduced new animatronics. Ballora, which was a recreation of his wife that left him, and Circus Baby, which was designed after his daughter Elizabeth.
I forgot this walking stereotype procreated. How in the world did he manage that one?
Stalking charisma must be maxed out.
I think you're missing the main point that he made animatronic replicas of his wife and daughter.
I didn't miss it, I just didn't necessarily know what to say.
I think the words William Afton are enough of an afterthought in themselves.
Now, Elizabeth always listened to William until the day she didn't. The day before Circus Baby's Pizza World officially opened, she disobeyed and got too close to Baby. The animatronic ripped her in half and swallowed her whole.
And that's what happens when pit bull owners say he doesn't bite.
What a brutal way to go out. Seriously, no wonder I'd be angry at the person who made it.
I was going to say it wasn't William's fault this time, but he made the friggin' machine. Why make something like that and say, this certainly won't have negative repercussions?
William found her too late and she was gone. He canceled the opening of Baby's Pizza World, claiming it was due to a gas leak. As he stood at the stage, he noticed Baby's eyes changed from blue to green. Elizabeth's eye color also happened to be green.
If I just caused my daughter to die, I would feel like this as well.
The random urge to throw yourself into oncoming traffic?
Someone tell the traffic to watch out. William Afton is walking.
So Afton knew something was up, whether Baby was now possessed by Elizabeth or not. He made it his priority to learn more. As such, he went back to the old Freddy's and stole the withered animatronics and brought them back to his underground workshop.
Went back to the old Freddy's?
When did he ever steal the animatronics? I don't remember that being involved.
It was during the 3rd game when we played as the animatronics in the mini-games, and William Afton was still referred to as Purple Guy.
Wait, during the 3rd game, when I was asking why we were the walking freezers?
I can't remember what you said about it then, but it was during the 3rd game. William melted down the possessed animatronics into molten metal and injected it into the Funtime animatronics. The Funtimes came to life, however. They were super aggressive. He needed to know more and went back to Freddy's to get more scraps. But the ghosts fought back, led by Cassidy.
Because breaking those animatronics open was the reason why they were able to be freed.
Wait, I have a hankering in my noggin and it needs to be answered.
Does it really need to be?
Like 100%.
Go ahead.
If Cassidy is the host of Golden Freddy, what about Evan? Wasn't he the one to possess Golden Freddy? Where did Cassidy even come in?
So this is where the theory of multiple possessions comes into play. It's theorized that Cassidy and Evan possessed Golden Freddy at the same time, until the marionette, who's Charlie, sets him free. Of course, I'll explore this in detail later.
That's got to be a compromising situation. Who controls what?
I don't think it really matters when they're mush, Obama.
Cassidy and everybody else forced William into a corner in the back room, and there laid the old spring-lock Bonnie. William put on the suit in an act of trying to gain power over the ghost, but the spring locks failed. William became trapped in the spring lock suit, where he would die.
But not actually die, because we live in the same universe as the Ghostbusters.
That's who we needed to call from the very beginning.
Turns out when William killed Charlie, her soul went into Puppet. The puppet then put the souls of the children into the animatronics. This was all of William's own making. He caused this. As a result, Charlie also confined his soul to that spring-lock suit to feel agony as long as the suit stood. One of the security guards reported a break-in at Freddy's, and Henry showed up and knew what happened. He had the back room of Freddy's sealed off, never to be uncovered again. William would be trapped there for good.
And that's where the whole William Afton being alive sort of went to absolute horse manure.
The main cast of deaths and events had already occurred. Now the second half is about wrapping up loose ends, correct?
Just like the sixth game foretold.
Is it weird to say that I'm tuckered out right now? I feel like I just ran a 5K marathon.
All while sitting, huh?
All while sitting.
William's son Michael was grown up now and hadn't heard from his father in a while. He remembered something about an underground workshop his dad kept secret. He went to his old childhood home and looked through the house and found the secret entrance behind a bookshelf.
Oh yeah, I forgot Michael was here.
I didn't know murder could be a spectator sport, but I guess Michael proved us wrong.
So was he raised by his mother then?
Either that or he was already grown enough to be an adult. Remember, around the time of 1983, he was a late teenager. I'd say anywhere from 14 to 17.
You know, I can't blame him for wanting to get away from all of that. Lots of emotional baggage for any age to handle.
Especially because your dad raised you through a talking Tom.
It was an entire elevator in the house, which he couldn't believe was possible. This elevator led to an underground bunker filled with electronics and old animatronics. There was one animatronic trying to help him, and it was Circus Baby. But he didn't understand why she was helping him until he realized it could be his very own sister. After being shocked by all of this and the animatronics recognizing him, he promised he would help them out of his father's bunker.
So wait, the events of Sister Location weren't because we were actually hired to work somewhere, right?
Some people speculate that Michael was directly sent down there to retrieve Elizabeth, and this was around the time the restaurant was open. But others believe he went down there due to his own ambitions.
Either way, we play as Michael in the 5th game.
Yes, that is 100% certain. Now, this might have you recall Ennard's existence.
The thing that betrayed us at the end of Sister Location?
Right. Putting it briefly, it's assumed that Ennard is a physical and a subconscious mix of multiple spirits being led by Elizabeth Afton.
That's one messed up petri dish.
Now recall that these animatronics, or spirits, were sick and tired of being shocked and witnessing the terrible things they already have. This is where they collectively come together as Ennard to deceive Michael into letting them free.
Does Elizabeth know that it's Michael down there? Her brother?
The only reason I would say no is because she calls Michael someone new when first looking at him. But again, in MatPat's words, that's just a theory.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Now, don't get it twisted. Michael was still alive. If you remember the mini-game where he was walking down the street, his body became the host of all of the Funtime animatronics. Of course, his body could not tolerate machinery living inside him, and after a while, the animatronic collection was vomited from his body and ejected into the sewers.
Is this why he turned purple as well? And there were 2 purple guys walking around?
Essentially.
Like father, like son.
The inner rage he had towards his father motivated him to try to right his father's wrongs. This is where the first game comes in. He took night shifts at the old pizzeria, which the company had turned into a shell of its former self. His main goal was to study what his father had done and learn a lot about the history of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Interestingly enough, he never found his father.
And that was due to William Afton being sealed away in the back room by Henry.
Correct. This is also assuming that Michael and William had a falling out after Evan died.
How could he not find him? He was literally in the building.
If you remember in the third game, William Afton, or Springtrap, was discovered in a back room that was not available on the blueprints or seen by the cameras. Now this is where the events of the first game occur, but after seeing hallucinations about his brother and Golden Freddy, Michael decided to tamper with the animatronics. This results in him being fired by the company.
Now, was the franchise still owned by Henry?
It's not confirmed, but I assume so because Michael used the alias as Mike Schmidt. If it wasn't run by Henry, he wouldn't need to use an alias because the company wouldn't know his involvement.
Wait, so the first game, fourth game, and fifth game, we play as Michael Afton?
That poor man has been through so much. Well, talk about karma.
Karma was not playing around with him.
So Michael is fired. The restaurant tanks due to business reasons, and everything has to shut down. This is where the story takes a big leap into the future.
So before we leap 30 years into the future, Ennard is roaming around the sewers, William is stuck in the back room, and nobody has been put to rest.
Correct. Now, Evan could have been put to rest before the third game, but then the mini-games wouldn't have made any sense. Therefore, I think the time skip results in everyone suffering.
My head hurts.
So years go by and it's now 2023. A new horror attraction opens, Fazbear Frights, a place to make money off the crimes around the Fazbear Entertainment franchise. Now, playing the role that Michael did in all those games, this obviously frustrated him to see his tragedies being profited on.
Wait, 2023? You're telling me that the third game happened this year, when we learned about all this?
Yeah, that one was hard to keep secret, especially since this is our last video of the year.
It's a good thing that this game isn't based on current events because we would have had a loose Springtrap roaming around.
I don't think even the National Guard could have helped.
Now, as a result of this, Michael applied for the night guard position at Fazbear Frights. Nothing really happened at this location until the company eventually found an animatronic, a golden spring lock Bonnie locked behind a wall at an old location.
Now, did Michael realize that it was his father there the whole time?
I'd have to say yes, because at the end of a sister location, you can clearly hear him talking to his father about freeing Elizabeth. That's also why Ennard attacked Michael, because they thought he was William. Now, whether that's before or after the third game is really hard to tell.
If he smelled like yesterday's eggnog, I would think he was William too.
What's interesting is that Michael had applied to the job for the main purpose of setting the remaining souls free. We're not sure if the mini-games were the way to do so, or if it was just burning the place down. Either way, the souls end up being freed, and the place gets burned to the ground with Springtrap inside.
Was it due to Michael intentionally burning it down?
I don't believe that's ever clarified. That being said, the phone dude mentioned that Fazbear's Fright did have faulty wiring, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was because of natural causes.
I swear we've made more bridges of confusion than Pittsburgh.
Now, somehow, William Afton survived. No matter what, he refuses to die.
What One Too Many David Goggins videos will do to you.
Now, if you remember Henry Emily, the other business owner behind all of this, was also one to witness the burning of Fazbear's Fright. As he knew the loose ends that needed to be tied up, he would open a new Fazbear Entertainment restaurant. Michael applied and got the job immediately.
Now, were Henry and Michael doing it together and they knew the situation?
What's weird is that Henry is aware of who Michael is, and Michael is aware of what he has to do. But I don't believe that they ever directly communicated with each other. All Henry did was instruct Michael to be on the lookout for animatronics showing up in the back alleyway.
Why would he open up another franchise in the first place? Has he actually not learned?
The reason why Henry opened this location wasn't to continue the franchise, but rather to end it. He knew that if he opened another location, Afton would show up.
Wait, what?
It was to bait him, and not just only him, but the remainder of the animatronics as well. The marionette was one of them, who was Charlie. She took over Lefty.
That's who Lefty was?
That's also why they were on sale for so low.
Interesting.
Next was the animatronic amalgamation that was inside Michael, Ennard. Ennard had taken the form of Molten Freddy, who was the one in control.
So like 15 people inside one. Got it.
And finally, a scrappy version of Circus Baby, who belonged to the soul of his sister Elizabeth. Henry was able to see that after so many years, Michael finally got them all together.
And that leads us to the final piece in motion, right?
The 17th arson charge of the franchise.
Exactly. Once Michael had gathered all the animatronics, Henry instructed Michael to seal all the doors and leave once, but Michael decided to stay. His torment for years on end had finally come to an end with one final flame.
How poetic.
Certainly a way to put it.
Fazbear Entertainment was turned into a furnace with everyone inside. Henry, Michael, William Afton, Charlie, Elizabeth, and everyone else's souls that were stuck and entered. It all finally ended. Michael was finally free. All the tormented souls were put at peace, and Henry could finally move on. Fazbear Entertainment burned to the ground.
And that's it?
Well, I would really like to say a fitting conclusion, but there are 4 more games after this.
It just never ends, does it?
Head hurt, Donald?
More than hurt. I need a couple of Tylenols to even try to process this.
In all seriousness, did that entire recap make sense? Or at least come close to?
Now that there are names associated with everything, I would say so. It's actually a really well put together story when you think of it.
Yeah, I won't deny the art. What Scott did here was great, terrific even. With so many moving parts all coming together so seamlessly, I can see why he's been very successful.
I'm glad it's mainly come together. The story has certainly evolved a lot, considering we started with just 5 kids getting stuffed in suits.
Wow, I genuinely forgot that's how it started. Say, Joe, want to hear a throwback line?
What?
Joe, you would like a video game about kids getting put in uncomfortable places.
And we devolved back to the first game.
It's Donald Trump here wanting to thank all of our members for supporting us. We can't thank you enough. If you would like to become a member and see exclusive content, click the link in the description.